Psychology secrets about quiet people. You know those individuals who don't always speak up in group settings, who prefer listening over talking, and who often keep their thoughts to themselves. But what's really going on in the minds of quiet people? Are they shy, reserved, or simply uninterested in what's happening around them? Today, we're going to uncover the psychology secrets about quiet people and reveal what's really happening beneath the surface. Whether you consider yourself a quiet person or you're curious about someone who is, this video will offer deep insights into their behavior, thought processes, and unique strengths. So let's dive in. 1. Quiet doesn't always mean shy. One of the most common misconceptions about quiet people is that they're shy. While some quiet individuals are indeed shy, this isn't always the case. Shyness typically involves a fear of social judgment or discomfort in social situations, whereas quiet people may simply prefer solitude or feel no need to fill every silence with conversation. Quietness can often be a sign of a thoughtful and introspective nature. Many quiet people are simply more comfortable observing and reflecting rather than jumping into conversations. They might not feel the need to speak unless they have something meaningful to contribute. This isn't about fear, it's about intention. Quiet people often take their time to process information and consider their responses, which can be mistaken for shyness. However, this quiet contemplation is often a sign of their depth and thoughtfulness. They're not necessarily shy, they're just choosing their moments to speak. 2. The power of observation. One of the greatest strengths of quiet people is their power of observation. While others are busy talking, quiet individuals are often listening and watching. They pick up on details that others might miss: the tone of someone's voice, the body language, the subtext of what's being said. This ability to observe makes them incredibly perceptive and often very insightful. Quiet people have heightened awareness, which allows them to understand situations and people on a deeper level. They can often read the room better than anyone else, sensing tensions, unspoken emotions, and underlying dynamics with ease. Because of this observational power, quiet people are often the ones who notice when something is off or when someone needs support, even if no one has said anything. They have a knack for understanding the unspoken, which can make them invaluable friends, colleagues, and confidants. 3. Introversion versus extroversion spectrum. Another key point to understand about quiet people is where they might fall on the introversion-extroversion spectrum. Introversion is often associated with quietness, but not all quiet people are introverts, and not all introverts are always quiet. Introversion simply means that a person recharges their energy by spending time alone rather than in social situations. Quiet people, whether introverted or extroverted, may prefer meaningful one-on-one conversations over large group settings. They might enjoy socializing, but find it more fulfilling to connect deeply with a few people rather than engage in small talk with many. It's important to remember that introversion and extroversion exist on a spectrum. Some quiet people might enjoy social activities, but need downtime afterward to recharge. Others might prefer solitude most of the time, but can be quite talkative when they're passionate about a topic. Understanding this spectrum helps us appreciate the diversity within quiet people's social preferences. 4. The inner world of a quiet person. One of the most fascinating aspects of quiet people is their rich inner world. While they might not always express themselves outwardly, they are often deeply reflective and imaginative. Their minds are a constant hub of thoughts, ideas, and reflections, and they spend a lot of time processing and analyzing their experiences. This inner world can be a source of creativity and insight. Quiet people often have a strong connection to their thoughts and emotions, which allows them to engage in deep self-reflection and personal growth. They might be quiet on the outside, but inside, there's a whole universe of ideas and feelings. Quiet people often excel in creative fields where introspection and imagination are key. Writers, artists, musicians. Many of these individuals find that their quiet nature allows them to tap into their inner creativity more easily. They don't need constant external stimulation because their internal world is already so rich and fulfilling. 5. The strength of deep listening. One of the most underrated strengths of quiet people is their ability to listen deeply. In a world where many are eager to speak, quiet individuals often excel at listening. They give others the space to express themselves fully without interrupting or rushing to share their own thoughts. This deep listening allows quiet people to truly understand and empathize with others. They pick up on nuances in the conversation, notice what's not being said, and provide a safe space for others to open up. This makes them excellent friends, partners, and colleagues, as they can offer support and insight that others might miss. Because they listen so well, quiet people often become the go-to confidants for those around them. People feel heard and understood in their presence, which can be incredibly comforting and reassuring. This strength of deep listening is one of the key reasons why quiet people often have such meaningful and lasting relationships. 6. The challenge of being misunderstood. Despite their many strengths, quiet people often face the challenge of being misunderstood. Because they don't always express themselves outwardly, others might mistake their silence for disinterest, aloofness, or even arrogance. In reality, quiet people are often deeply engaged with their surroundings. They're just processing things internally rather than externally. This misunderstanding can lead to frustration on both sides. Quiet people might feel overlooked or undervalued because their contributions aren't as vocal, while others might feel uncertain about how to engage with them. It's important to recognize that quietness doesn't equate to a lack of interest or ability. It's simply a different way of interacting with the world. To bridge this gap, it's helpful to approach quiet people with curiosity rather than assumptions. Ask them about their thoughts and perspectives, and give them the space to express themselves in their own time and way. You might be surprised by the depth of insight and understanding they have to offer. 7. The misconception of disinterest. Another common misconception about quiet people is that they're disinterested or bored. This assumption often arises in social situations where quiet individuals might not be as outwardly enthusiastic or talkative as others. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. Quiet people often engage with their surroundings in a more internal way. They might be deeply interested in what's happening, but prefer to observe rather than participate vocally. Their quietness is not a sign of disengagement, but rather a different way of processing and enjoying the moment. It's important to recognize that everyone has different ways of interacting with the world. For quiet people, simply being present and taking everything in can be incredibly fulfilling. So, if you notice someone being quiet in a social setting, don't assume they're not interested. Instead, consider that they might just be appreciating the moment in their own way. 8. The depth of relationships with quiet people. When it comes to relationships, quiet people often prefer quality over quantity. They might not have a large social circle, but the relationships they do have are typically deep and meaningful. Because they value deep connection, they invest time and energy into cultivating relationships that matter to them. Quiet people often build strong, lasting bonds with those who understand and appreciate their nature. These relationships are marked by mutual respect, understanding, and a deep sense of trust. Quiet individuals might not be the life of the party, but they're often the friend or partner who will be there when it really counts. In relationships, quiet people bring a sense of stability and depth. They might not be the most vocal, but their actions and presence speak volumes. They're often the ones who remember the small details, who offer thoughtful gestures, and who provide a calm, reassuring presence when it's needed most. 9. The need for solitude. One of the most essential aspects of a quiet person's life is their need for solitude. While everyone needs some alone time, quiet people often require it more than others. Solitude allows them to recharge, process their thoughts and emotions, and connect with their inner world. This need for solitude isn't about avoiding others. It's about maintaining balance and well-being. For quiet people, spending time alone is a way to reset and refocus, so they can engage more fully when they're around others. It's an integral part of who they are and how they function best. It's important for quiet people to honor this need for solitude and for those around them to respect it. When quiet individuals take time for themselves, it doesn't mean they're withdrawing from relationships. It means they're taking care of themselves so they can be present and engaged when it matters most. 10. The role of quiet people in group dynamics. In group dynamics, quiet people often play a crucial yet understated role. While they might not dominate the conversation, they contribute in ways that can be incredibly valuable. Their observations and insights can often bring a new perspective or highlight something that others have missed. Quiet people are also often the ones who help maintain balance in a group. They can sense when tensions are rising or when someone is being overlooked, and they might step in at just the right moment to diffuse a situation or bring someone else into the conversation. Their calm presence can be a stabilizing force in group interactions. Because they are less concerned with being heard themselves, quiet people often focus on ensuring that the group as a whole is functioning well. This makes them excellent team players, even if their contributions are more behind the scenes. They might not be the loudest voice in the room, but their influence is often felt in subtle and meaningful ways. Quiet people bring so much depth, insight, and understanding to the world, even if they do it in a more subtle way. By understanding the psychology behind their quiet nature, we can better appreciate their strengths and the unique perspectives they offer. Whether you're a quiet person yourself, or you know someone who is, I hope this video has given you a deeper understanding of the many layers and nuances of quietness. And as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. How do you experience or perceive quietness?